Chris?
Sorry, Ethan.
What is going on, guys? Twitchy Tango here. It's Friday, it's upload day, and boy, do we got some juicy bits of stuff to talk about. Resident Evil got announced a few weeks ago at the Sony press conference, and the biggest thing that you saw at the beginning, minus the memeage, is Chris shot Mia. Is Chris gone bad? Is Chris gone rogue? I did a video that I will link in the description as well as in the video down below. There will be timestamps so you can divulge and digest all of the stuff that we're going to be watching and discussing. So just bear that in mind. Link in the description below, timestamps down below, and let's get into it. Chris Redfield has a very long career fighting BOWs. I want to say BOWs. BOWs, bioterrorism. It all started with the Arkley Mansion in 1996, as well as the Rockford Island, dealing with the Ashford twins and reemergence of Wesker, as well as going on to the Queen Zenobia and dealing with the destruction of that island. I can't think of it to save my life. Terra Grigia, dealing with Terra Grigia and its destruction, as well as the villains behind Queen Zenobia. Little subplot there. Revelations was originally going to portray Chris as the bad guy, but never went with the plot. Resident Evil 5 saw the defeat of Wesker and the saving of Jill, and a lot of that has spent most of his life fighting bioterror. He also been messing up words. He also tried with the capture of Oswald Spencer, but Wesker took care of him, and that would lead to Jill being kidnapped and captured by Wesker and turned into his pawn. And they would eventually see the defeat of Wesker in that volcano in Africa, defeating him once and for all. Wesker has probably been the best villain out of Resident Evil ever. You had people like Simmons, who was just a freaking incel who wanted to screw Ada. The connections could be these big baddies, and with Alex Wesker making a return, I'm not really looking forward to Alex's return, simply because I don't want her to replace how Wesker was. It just shows that Capcom just can't think of anything good. Like, can I give us a strong villain without tying it into Wesker? And there's a lot that we've seen over the past few weeks, as you will see certain tweets pop up, and I think it's good to say that the direction Resident Evil 8 is gonna take is the most decisive and different we've seen probably since Resident Evil 6. Dusk Golem has tweeted, Alex Inel, CVX Freak has tweeted that Resident Evil is gonna be Village. It's actually called Village. It's gonna be the biggest game-changing entry in the series, whether that means story beats, whether it means gameplay beats. I know it's going to have the most variety of enemies ever, and that's kind of good. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to what happens next in Resident Evil. Does that mean they say Resident Evil 7 is Resident Evil Village is the end Resident Evil 7 story? So that could mean a few things. That could mean that, thank God, Ethan's going away. And I believe me when I say this, everybody is glad Ethan is going away. Nobody likes him, and all it took for him to get a personality was for his wife to die. Just a thought. He does sound a lot different in the game. He doesn't sound so boring and bland. So maybe we'll learn to like Ethan. But this is about Chris and a few things dealing with Chris. I feel like Chris's story could have ended in Resident Evil 5. I feel like defeating Wesker could have meant he could go on and live with Jill if that's what the case is. And I think Chris' story's ending could mean a few good things. It means all these characters don't have plot armor, whether he dies or goes into the sunset with Jill. It's a lot to be desired, a lot to be praised. I think when the story ends with Nate, we're going to be shocked. There will be 3 protagonists. Ethan will be 50-60% of it. I'm sure Chris will be that 30%, and then maybe Leon, to set up Resident Evil 4 Remake, will be that 10%. With Resident Evil 8 coming out next year, maybe first quarter, second quarter, and then we're going to see gameplay in August. We got a lot to be excited for as a Resident Evil fan with that possible Resident Evil series showing up, man. I want to see it, bro. I need to see it. But I think we'll start off with this video with Chris Redfield, Sheva Alomar, tanking and wiping out old buddy Wesker once and for all. you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, turn notification bells on, and I'll see you guys shortly.
Use those!
Ready, partner?
Locked and loaded.
Suck on this, Wesker.
Your time's up, you son of a bitch!
I think for many of us, watching Resident Evil 5's ending sequence, dealing with a final blow to Wesker, many I would assume thought that was the end. And then a few years later, we got Resident Evil 6 in 2012, and we got to see a different side of Chris, a broken Chris. We've seen a broken Leon hitting the bomb, and I think that's a big thing. And Alex Honnold did cover the bulk of from Mazda article touching base with like the Village, how Chris and Mia's Ethan relationship is very different than it was when we last left off, and a few other things discussing all of it. I just want all of you to know to go in with an open mind, Resident Evil 8, because it's supposed to be very different than what we've gotten. But we got to see a different side of Chris, and it's a side not many people had the luxury of seeing. It's just going to be very fascinating to see what comes next with the game. But Resident Evil 6 Chris is vastly different from the Chris we saw before because we've never seen him really suffer. If you count Jill, he thought Jill was gone, but he ended up trying to look for her and find her. And Chris, man, Chris is the only one I can tell out of Leon, Claire, Jill, Rebecca, and Barry that didn't find an outlet to deal with what they had witnessed. Chris just kept going, and you can sort of see that effect on him in Resident Evil 6. How Resident Evil 6 really changed his view of things. He lost a lot, and he suffered PTSD and amnesia. He couldn't remember anything of who he was, and he just quit and gave up. It took his ally Pierce to wake him up. He suffered through it all the way through China, and in the end, until he finally realized what he was fighting for, and he kept fighting, and he promised Pierce he would keep going. I think what we're seeing is Chris's evolution, and of course, he did get another change. And if I could say this change looks, I would say it's 5 and 6 Chris with more age progression to that character. He looks older. He'll be 47 years old by the time this game launches, if we're going by the years when these games are released. So 2017, it launched, he was 43, and now with the launch of Resident Evil 7, he will be 40. Resident Evil Village, he'll be 48. So you gotta think this man's hitting 50, and he may not slow down, but maybe he's realizing that he needs to stop what he's doing. Chris has gone through more changes than anyone else in the Resident Evil franchise. And not just physical appearances, but character changes, and he's seen the worst humanity has to offer, and he keeps going. I would argue that Resident Evil 7 is peak Chris. I know people tend to hate Chris Redfield because of his design, but that's Chris Redfield who has seen the Arkley Mansion, who has fought the reemerged Wesker, who has saved Jill, who has saved the world from destruction, who's defeated the C virus and defeated Glen Ares, and for obvious reasons I cannot show that. Just Chris has all the knowledge and experience of everything he's witnessed to defeat them. And I think that's really great. This is Dusk Golem's tweet talking about how Resident Evil Village will take center stage, it'll be its own protagonist, and how that'll evolve around the story. But I think you all need to understand Chris, Resident Evil 7 Chris, is peak Chris. And what we're going to see in Resident Evil 8 is Chris at a different path in his life. Even though he's working for the old, this new reborn umbrella, he still cares about his allies and his friends. He still wants to help them. He still wants to help them, even though they work for this old organization. Chris is still Chris. Chris, who has seen tyrants and BOWs and evil entities and fought his former comrade who wanted to take over the world and destroy it. Still, that means nothing to him. The things he's seen, he's molded, they're nothing to Chris. He takes them out, he kicks their ass, he beats them down. They're nothing to him. Even this redneck hillbilly who thought he could fight Chris just couldn't anywhere get near him. Chris Redfield is the pendulum of fighting BOWs. He is unstoppable. And this interaction between Chris and Lucas coming up is probably one of my favorite moments of Chris, because that is Chris Redfield. He sees these molded, he fights them, he's not afraid of them. He's not afraid of some redneck hillbilly who's messed with the wrong things. He's unstoppable. Chris Boulder Punching debonair Thick Daddy Redfield. I will say we're going to hop on and talk about Mia after this, but do enjoy this coming up clip with Chris Redfield just being a fucking asshole towards Lucas Baker, that hillbilly hick.
You're gonna kill me, just kill me. For the love of God, shut the fuck up!
Oh, I wish I could stay and watch you burn to death. But I can't. I have an elsewhere to be.
It's just something about Mia and a little Wesker.
Just wanted to send a quick hello and I love you. Oh, good news. I'm gonna be coming home soon. Yay! Oh, I cannot wait to be done with this babysitting job and come home to my loving husband. I miss you. Oh, I gotta get back to work. I love you, Ethan. I miss you so much. I'm sending tons of kisses. Bye, baby.
Ethan. You were right. I did lie to you. I shouldn't have. But all I can say is that if you get this, stay away.
Sorry, Ethan.
Know what you're thinking, Adam. Mia didn't deserve that. I'm gonna ask you to throw that out your mind, throw that out of your conscience. Mia has been working for the Connection since 2010 and helped create Evelyn. You know what that means? The death of her co-worker Alan, the entire rig that she was on, and the Bakers. All blood on her hands. She is in no way, shape, or form innocent. To say that Chris just ruthlessly murdered some innocent woman would be a lie because she's not innocent. We know how Chris feels about people who proliferate the sale of BOWs who deal with bioterrorism. He has no patience or love for them. So the fact that he allowed Mia to continue even after all this time says a lot to his patience. He obviously needs Ethan to come with him to figure out what's going on. The fact that we will have three protagonists throws up in the air. I'm definitely going to say it's Ethan and Chris. Maybe we get to play as Claire or Jill. Maybe Leon 10%. I feel like that final 10% will be Leon because it'll probably set up Remake 4 and tie into the larger narrative. But for someone who people say is just innocent, here's a few things. She knew how to make explosive. She knew how to use a highly automatic weapon. This is not some woman who is simply just doing a job. This is a woman who has experience in what's going on. So maybe when she was younger, she met Albert Wesker, maybe met Alex Wesker, maybe met Daniel Fabron. Maybe she met all these people who have massive significance in the sale of BOWs. The connections have been around, as I've come to find out, even before the events of Resident Evil 6. So there's a lot to argue and say that Mia willingly did these things without any sort of blackmail. She chose to do these things. She chose to create these things. She lied to her husband for years. She did this before Ethan showed up, so obviously she fell in love with Ethan, but she chose to lie to him instead of being honest, whether that's to keep him from getting murdered by the connections or what. She is not innocent, people. She's not innocent. She's not caring at all. And I think we need to understand that about her. She doesn't care about uh, being innocent. She doesn't care that she led to the killing of others, I'm sure. But then again, we don't really know Ethan, Mia, or Ethan that well. I'm sure we're going to find out more about Ethan. Just Mia herself is just one of those problematic things that we got to have issues with because she's not innocent. She's not a good person, and I guess Chris saw to it that maybe she was still feeding information to the connections and giving them info of all the things she was doing. Or maybe they were giving her information to work with, which leads me into Alex Wesker. Um, Clearly, Natalia knew her time was running thin, knew that Alex was taking over, so she wouldn't kill Barry, Moira, and I can't think of her sister. I think it's Lisa or Lindsay. I'm not sure. Uh, so she wouldn't murder him, left him, ran away from him. Barry, being someone who cares about Natalia, told Chris. When Chris finds Natalia, she is now fully immersed, fully realized that it's Wesker, and she puts Chris under her mind control. Me personally, I'm thinking somehow, whether we see it in this one or the next one, we will see Natalia fight back. Maybe we'll see this in this game. Maybe we'll see Natalia fight back at the She Wesker. I know there was a pretty crazy thing over on Spanish Resident Evil Twitter about how the three witches surrounding, uh, I think that's Alex, were Moira, Jill, and I think Claire, which is pretty interesting. I highly doubt that. I've never wanted something so more in my life. But likeliness of that happened, considering that Dusk Golem has pretty much tweeted all these theories and all these leaks that are absolute bullshit. He actually is knowledgeable about all the things with Resident Evil, but we're probably never going to get another Dino Crisis. Let's be real, folks. Let's be real about it. I am excited for the road ahead. Dealing with Alex Wesker, something people have been clamoring about for a while. The fact that we'll see this plot thread come full circle. Daniel Fabron's here. I'm thinking that's him in the trailer. It's kind of getting me excited, folks. It's getting me excited. I'm looking forward to it. And it's just getting ready for this game next year. I'm probably going to get on PC. I might get on PS5. Just to see this, how it's going to play out is very exciting. But these are the closing statesmen. These are the closing statesmen, folks. I'm excited for Resident Evil 8. Whether you're in it for Chris, whether you're in it to see Ethan finally kick the bucket, thank the Capcom gods for this. Whether you're excited to see Alex Wesker show up or Daniel Fabron actually being an entry. And then you're excited for a bunch of other things, whether you're excited for the protagonist, all this stuff, the village taking center stage when most Resident Evil games have always used the setting as sort of a background. The fact that this will make it more relevant to the story is exciting, as well as the past and present, dealing with Umbrella. It's kind of interesting. I'm excited for it, people. Few things we're going to wrap up. Chris is back. He has his reasons for killing Mia. Mia is not innocent. Alex Wesker is back, and I think we should all be ready for it. The excitement is boiling down to nonsensical hilarity. I know it's scary. I know we think Chris is going to die. I know we think Chris has gone bad, but he's not. This is Chris doing what he knows best. He needs Ethan for whatever reason. He has to kill Mia because it's his job to deal with those who deal in the creation and selling of bioweapons. This isn't somebody that's changed. If not, he's in his prime and ready to take the fight and finish it off once and for all. Whatever happens next is I'm excited. But since we have made it to the end of the video, I'd like you to follow me on Facebook. We're trying to get in the process of streaming again, get ready to stream at twitchtango. If you want to follow me on Twitter, that's where I'm updating most of the time. I'd like to see you there. We can conversate in the things all anime and Twitter and gaming, and of course Instagram. I'm trying my best to get in the swing of uploading content. It's a hard just alternating between that and Instagram and Facebook. But if you want to follow me here over at YouTube Gaming, follow me, subscribe, turn on notification bells. And I know that's just really the end of the video. And I want us all to keep an open mind with this story going to be different. And I also want to end this very somewhat sad video on a better note, with Chris Resident Evil 5 looking more optimistic than he ever has in a long time. That being said, at the end of the video, I love you all. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take it easy.
More and more, I find myself wondering if it's all worth fighting for. For a future without fear? Yeah, it's worth it.